There we go. Meatball George, how are you today?
Hey, brother John, how are you, my friend?
I'm good. I'm good. Had a good weekend. Well, weekend. It's only Saturday, but I had a good Friday night, and now I'm trying to drink in plenty of fluids to get over it.
I'm excited. I got Nebraska football to watch tonight, and then a full slate of games for the NFL tomorrow. We're in our fantasy league. We got our family pick'em league, and we got all kinds of things going on. And we get to recap the very first game of the season, Buffalo Bills.
Have you checked the? Speaking of the family pick'em pool,
Mhm.
did anybody not pick Buffalo?
I haven't. I haven't.
I haven't looked.
How,
Yeah,
how would I? How? Yeah, I don't know. They got to be crazy if they pick the Rams, but
somebody looking for some kind of edge, looking to get a jump up on the competition.
yeah. But if they would have watched our pregame show,
Oh, they would have known.
they would have known. They would have known.
I agree. All right, so the game was fun. That was a fun game to watch.
It was.
I suppose the second half was particularly fun.
Mhm.
What were your thoughts? Oh, my hand is still up. I don't actually know how to get my hand to, go down. So it's just going to stay there.
Oh yeah, I see. It's like hi. Okay.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
All right. So a quick recap from, I rewatched the show we put out pregame to see what we said because we stand by our words. And kind of what we said was it would be a low scoring first half. Both teams would kind of jab at each other. Remember, you were making the jabs and we thought maybe the score might be like 10-7, 14-10, something low. It was actually
first half, yeah. I remember saying
that way, 10-10.
We didn't know what the over under was for the half, but I remember saying it. We probably would go under on that.
Well, we really nailed that. They did jab at each other. They poked the line. They probed here. They probed there. Nobody was throwing anything deep, and you like that, huh? Okay.
Too much probing. Okay.
Too much probing. But both sides made mistakes in that first half, as what happens in the first game of the year. You're not coming up in mid-season
favorite shirts.
Yeah, you're not coming out in mid-season form. You're coming out after just a couple of games in preseason, and both teams struggled a little bit in the offense.
Yeah.
And then we said that the Bills would pull away in the second half, and they sure did. And I think my score was, I picked a score of 27-20 with the Bills covering the spread, but the Rams never scored in the second half, and it ended up 31-10. So even a bigger spread than I said. And then I did call for Isaiah McKenzie to have a big game, but he didn't. He was 2 for 3, and he did score a touchdown, so that helped out his fantasy points. We thought he might be a flex player. He ended up with about 10 points. Not the greatest for a flex player, but the Bills were throwing short passes, and I thought McKenzie would be involved in the game. But what they did, John, is they really involved their outside wide receivers in that short over the middle game.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought Shakir would have a role to play. They didn't even dress him. He was inactive.
Yeah.
And I thought James Cook would have a little bit to say. He got one opportunity. They handed him the ball. He fumbled it back on the bench. So I had some swing and misses, and I had some successes. Overall, we did call the right score, and we did have a good flow to the game. And so I'm excited about that. So that recaps what we said from the last time. Like I say, a few swing and misses, but overall we did okay. Now the game itself, what do you think about the game itself as it unfolded?
The two things that jumped out at me was I thought the defensive line played up to the hype.
Mm-hmm.
We had heard national analysts crazy talking about the Bills defensive line was going to be even better than last year, was going to be really improved. And obviously they had Von Miller, so they certainly made an attempt. But, I certainly recognize that they were going to be depending upon second-year guys and third-year guys to help make a difference there. But across the board, the free agents they got at defensive tackles, those guys made a difference.
Yeah.
The defensive ends, all of them had a good game.
Yeah.
I don't know if Espinoza made many tackles per se. I don't know how much he ended up in this box score, but he was involved. I mean, he got some pressures. He definitely was involved and did played a good role. I think he actually had a number.
He actually did. They shut down the run game.
Oh.
He was involved in that. He did get some. He may have had maybe got a half a sack. I'm not sure. He was involved in, I think, one sack, and he certainly was involved in a lot of pressures.
Rousseau had a good game.
Yes, he did.
I think he got 1 or 2 sacks, but the team got 7 sacks.
7 sacks. A Buffalo Bills team usually gets 7 sacks in a season. Well, they got 7 sacks against the Rams in the first game. Wow.
Von Miller looked like he's in prime form.
Yeah.
He looks like he's that one. It's only one game, but he looked like he's in the prime of his life.
I don't know if you noticed, but pregame, when he was out on the field walking around saying hello to his friends when they were all kind of taking the field, he was wearing a Bruce Smith t-shirt.
I didn't notice that.
And I thought, what a way to honor Bruce Smith what a classy move by Von Miller. And he had 2 sacks on the game. And I just thought that was classy, real classy. And that was nice.
So the other thing that you couldn't help but notice was 10 runs by Allen.
Mm-hmm.
And that's him running the ball is a legitimate weapon for them. I understand that. But there are a couple of, like, when they kind of wishboned him there and his legs were spread apart.
Yes, we're trying to make a wish. I wish he wouldn't be back in the game.
I think on his first run, the way he went down, he hopped right up. But I mean, the way he went down, I was like, yeah. Watching him stiff arm, I don't know the Rams player's name, but watching him do that was very exciting. And I'm sure that electrifies the sidelines. Mm-hmm. If you're a running back for the Bills, how do you get a handoff and not give, I'll say, maximum effort when your quarterback runs like that, right? But with that said, those are the kinds of runs that are going to get him hurt. Those are the kind of runs that in his later times added up, and that's why Cam Newton at the last few years wasn't. Now the other problem with Cam Newton, of course, was he's not the passer that Allen is. Mm-hmm. Right? He was never that kind of passer. But those will add up. Now he's still young and healthy, so I get it. But if it were the Super Bowl, I say go all out.
Yeah. With
16 regular season games to go, plus hopefully deep into the playoffs, I would like to see him sliding, and I would like to see them running with their running backs.
You started recapping the defense and you kind of switched to the offense.
Well, we're just talking about what I took away from the game.
All right, let's talk about the defense in general.
All right.
What do you think? What do you think about the defense in general, the Bills defense?
Well, they had a great game.
Mm-hmm.
They really did. Not only did they do a very good job stopping the run, they put pressure on him all day and throughout the entire second half.
Okay.
So I'm excited about what the defensive front can do. I didn't realize until afterwards that they hadn't blitzed at all in the game.
Yeah.
They got all that pressure and whatnot with
with 4 guys.
With the front 4, which is exactly how this defense would like to operate.
They got pressure with 4 guys. They rotated those 4 guys often enough that by the fourth quarter, they were still fresh. And the Rams were sucking air, and the Bills just slammed them. So the defensive line, you really think had a good game. Von Miller had 2 sacks and a whole heck of a lot of pressures. Rousseau had at least 1 sack. Boogie Basham batted a ball up in the air and intercepted it himself. How do you like that for a lineman? How many times? I mean, the Bills came away with 3 interceptions on the day. 3 interceptions.
And the Bills turned the ball over themselves 4 times.
Yeah, well, don't go to the offense yet. We'll do that. I agree with you.
Defense stopped LA from putting points on the board.
There were times the Bills turned it over and then the Bills defense just took it right back.
That's right.
How about the linebacker play?
That's fine.
I mean, I think Milano was
Milano had a good game.
extremely wow. He had a that's you know who the leading tackler was? The leading tackler with 10 tackles was Tremaine Edmonds.
You know, that's one of the when you talk about Tremaine, a lot of his accomplishments kind of go unnoticed.
Yes.
You know, if he were making tackles downfield, that'd be horrible because it means they're using a lot of. He's making tackles within the 5 yards of the line of scrimmage, and that's fantastic. But it kind of comes back to maybe he doesn't get enough credit for being very average.
You know, when we were first talking about him over the last couple of years, we talked about he would make a decision, he'd shoot a gap, but half the time was the wrong gap. Oh, well, I took a chance, I just went the wrong one. But yesterday, with the defensive front 4 that was out for the Bills, they were able to actually shut down so much that he didn't have to guess on what gap or where there was a crack or a seam, and he was able to attack it and shut down. I mean, they totally shut down the Rams run. There was no Rams running game.
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah.
And what do you think about the cornerbacks and the safeties?
I thought the safeties had a good game. Poyer got an interception. The other safety,
Hyde?
Yeah, Mike Hyde. I thought he had a good game. He did a lot of covering, and I thought he did a pretty good job.
You can remember it if you say Dr. Poyer and Mr. Hyde.
Okay. I'll try to remember. Yeah, instead of remembering his name, I'll remember that. That'll work.
Dr. Poyer and Mr. Hyde.
So I thought they did fine, and I thought the cornerbacks. Look, they played a lot of zones, a lot too deep, a lot of zones, which is kind of what we thought they were going to have to do.
Right.
With the success of the front 4, that worked out really well for them. It'll be interesting now that it's on tape and offenses coming up are going to be able to study that. It'll be interesting to see what they do to counter the front 4. Will they go to will teams go to like Tennessee when they decide to pass? Will it be a quick passing attack to neutralize or mitigate the pressure? Maybe that's what the Bills did against the Rams.
Right.
Maybe we'll see the Titans try to do something like that against the Bills. If so, well, that zone coverage is gonna be a weakness.
Yeah,
but it wasn't a weakness in this game. You know, played what they played on.
I can tell you that from the defensive side, first I got to say I think they played one heck of a game, especially for the first game of the year. They totally shut down the running game. They sacked the quarterback 7 times. And other than 1 or 2 offensive players, and those 1 or 2 being Cooper Kupp, who was the leading receiver in the entire game.
Yeah.
And Tyler Higbee.
Yeah.
Cooper Kupp caught more passes than our number 1 receiver, which was Diggs. And Tyler Higbee caught more passes than our number 2 receiver, which was Gabe Davis. So the Bills did give up some passing yards. He completed 29 passes out of 41 attempts. So that is a lot of passes. And it was about 200, just over 240 yards with Cooper Kupp getting like over 130 yards. So the Bills did give up some passing yards. So I think the cornerback situation is still kind of up in the air.
All right.
Cooper Kupp schooled our guys.
Yeah.
But there was enough going on the defense, they were able to cover for that, which was fantastic. And that's what they need to do while these young cornerbacks gain some experience. And didn't Dane Jackson get an interception too?
I don't recall. He might have. I don't recall.
So I think we got a little more time. We need a little more time to develop that cornerback room. But overall, our front four was so incredible that it compensated for the back four.
Yeah. It was.
Unfortunately, the back four, two of them are Pro Bowlers in Poyer and Hyde. So I think the defense, especially for the first game of the year, had a great day.
They're aging Pro Bowlers.
Yes, aging. Did you hear that they reworked Poyer's contract?
No.
He did not get an extension yet, but they did put in some additional incentives. Yeah. They didn't say what they were, but they were like not likely to get incentives, but it gives them an opportunity to make some more money this year.
Okay.
So apparently that makes him happy. At least he's got an opportunity to earn some more money this year. And he got himself an interception last night. So if interceptions is one of the things, it helps for him.
Well, there's some language in the collective bargaining agreement about incentives. If you're trying to create an incentive, it's something that they've previously accomplished. It's not an incentive.
Yeah.
It has to be something that they either haven't done or haven't done very often. And so that's where the whole not likely to whatever. But you never know. It's, you know what it is? He came into camp, he didn't hold out. And they gave something. At the end of the season, he's going to get the opportunity to test a free agent.
Absolutely.
And that's when he'll have his chance at whatever contract he can get there. God bless him. But that'll be his. The Bills were not budging, and I think we knew that when Knox got signed to an extension. I think that was a telling sign that Poyer just wasn't going to get it, okay. And neither is Tremaine.
All right, let's talk about the special teams. Bass didn't miss. He got a field goal and he got 4 extra points.
Yeah.
So the holder also did well, and the long snapper also did well. So we got no problem on that side of the special teams. We didn't give up any long punt returns because we didn't have to punt the ball.
So really, we got the best punter in the league right now.
Yeah, he's got the worst average at 0, but that's okay. And on the kickoff returns, the Rams tried to take it out of the end zone. They tried to get some yards, and the Bills special teams really covered well on that. So no problem there. So let's jump to the offense where I think.
Hold on.
All right.
I got a special teams complaint.
Go. Okay, I want to hear it.
We didn't punt the ball.
Yeah.
But we received some punts.
Mm-hmm.
And I noted during the game, we were texting back and forth during the game. They weren't even trying to run back punts.
That's true.
Crowder
was taking the punts.
We're gonna have a sure-handed receiver, and we're gonna get possession and turn it over to the offense.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now if you do that, it does reduce the chances that you're going to muff a punt and possibly turn it over. But it also absolutely takes away any opportunity of getting having an explosive play offensively.
Yeah, they certainly put us inside our own 20-yard line, inside our 15 many times. Because our guy, there was one punt we talked about. The guy was he caught the ball. I think it was Crowder. And there was nobody within 10 yards of him, but he caught the ball. It's like there is no aggression there. So I think somebody said don't mess up.
That does no turnovers there. Now, if we would have had a turnover in that department, it would have added to the other turnovers.
Mhm.
The Rams would have gotten in good field position.
Mhm.
I don't know if it ultimately would have changed the outcome because the defense was playing so well, but I get it. They don't want to take that chance. But I don't have a problem. I want to see an explosive return game.
Yeah, I thought about it, John.
I
And the only
want
thing that,
to see an advantage there instead of we're
yeah,
just going to play it safe.
the only thing I can come up with is during the preseason, they really were trying a lot of different guys in kickoff returns and punt returns. And I just got a feeling, whether it was the special teams coach or McDermott himself, we're just not comfortable yet that they know who their return guys are. And I think they're still feeling their way. And I got a feeling they took a position as like, listen, let's just not mess up there. Let's just get the ball, turn it over to the offense and get off the field. And let's not make mistakes on special teams. And that could be it. And it's early in the year and we'll see how that changes. But I think maybe that's it. Because they tried so many different people in those positions. And right, we saw Shakira doing some, McKenzie doing some. We never even saw Crowder do it, and there he was in the first game doing it.
Look, if the coaches are sitting there not knowing who their punt returner is, that's also a problem from the front office. They haven't gotten anyone.
Yeah, I think Marquez Stevenson would have been the guy, and he's injured.
You can't pull it was Austin and expect that he's going to be a difference maker. He hasn't been a difference maker in 8 years. Why would he be one just because he's got a Bills uniform on? So I feel like that's an overlooked aspect, and there's room for improvement there. I guess I'm picking on him a little bit because they won.
No, that's okay.
But, all right, offense. Let's talk offense.
My opinion, I think you're going to see that change as the season goes on. I think that was just, let's get started safely in this season. Let's not make any mistakes on the road in the world champion's house. Let's just get the ball, turn it over to the offense, and get off the field.
Yeah, they had enough
That's what I think happened. Yeah.
All right.
Offense. You go ahead. You want to go or you want me to go? I got some stats for you.
Well, I would say Allen was sharp as attack with passing the ball.
Yes.
I know one of the things we've talked about before is utilizing a short passing attack, sometimes in lieu of a running attack, or sometimes just taking what they're giving you and continuing to keep the ball and getting first downs.
Right.
In the first half, especially, he really seemed to be willing to do that. And this is the guy that we know, he likes to throw downfield. He likes to throw to his wide receivers, and he likes to throw downfield.
Right.
Took his outlet passes all night long. He was willing to throw to the running backs. And wide receivers. I don't remember wide receiver screens, but there were definitely some short passes, wide receiver wise. Crowder got a couple of nice passes, and not just nice, but at crucial third down catches, crucial times, making first downs, which is part of what they asked their slot receiver to do. So unlike, like, they don't have a slot receiver like Cooper Kupp, they have a slot receiver that they're asking to catch every ball. Maybe they're not going to get a lot of yards after catch, but they make crucial catches that continue their drive. So I thought overall, listen, Diggs went out there. He didn't shy away from Ramsey. Allen didn't shy away from him. Dave Davis played almost every snap. If it wasn't already apparent from previous seasons, they'd like to use him to block.
And he did a good job. He's big guy, he's physical, and he's a good blocker.
But he's proven again in this game that when you pass him the ball, he will catch it, and he scores touchdowns when he does.
Yes.
So that was a.
Didn't you love that touchdown by Diggs where he was going backwards into the end zone and he fell down and he caught it on his back?
Yeah.
Now that's a sign of something good to come.
That was a very long throw. It was like a 50, 55-yard throw. It was a hair underthrow.
Mhm.
That
Yes,
was
it was.
actually
He had to slow down and he tripped over the turf.
Ramsey was beaten so bad that even though he's slowing down to catch the ball, he wasn't there. So that was yeah, I did like that. Those two guys, Diggs and Ramsey, they were talking all night.
Yeah.
We didn't get to see that as much as I would have liked to.
No, they were jawing at each other all night.
Even when the ball doesn't go their direction, when they're
Mhm.
walking back, you know they're still jawing.
They do not like each other.
Well, they don't like each other on the field, right? For sure.
Diggs schooled him less on
Yeah,
Thursday.
yeah, yeah. Davis got a nice little catch over Ramsey. He didn't back away from him either. And Davis doesn't mind being physical.
Mhm.
All right. So what do you think? What was your impression? We got about 10 minutes to go here. What was your impression?
All right, so here's some numbers for you. The Bills had 58 offensive plays.
Okay.
The backs, meaning Singletary, Moss, and Cook, not Josh Allen, just those three guys, just the back. They were involved in 23 plays. John, that's 40% of the plays had the backs involved. When's the last time you saw the Bills run a 60-40 to the receivers versus the backs? Now, overall, the backs accounted for 97 yards out
Okay.
of about 420 something yards for
Is
total
that
offense.
running and catching and running?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So all-purpose yards.
All-purpose yards. So about 23% of the yards came from the backs,
Okay.
but 40% of the plays came from the backs.
Yeah.
And by the time you got later into the second half, the Rams had to pay attention to the backs.
They did.
They had to. And we've been talking about involving the running backs in the games, not necessarily having to run it, right? But throw them the ball and hand off the ball. And then I don't know, you do yourself a favor, any of you watching, take a look at the cover one, film one that came out today on YouTube, and you'll see it. I noticed it during the game, but they really show it to you well. The running game, how many times did you see two backs in the backfield?
Yeah.
They had Gilliam, the fullback,
Quite
as
a
the
bit.
lead blocker. I mean, they were going back to the 1960s.
You know,
Or maybe the 70s if you want to go with Kick and what was his name in Miami?
Kick.
Jim Kick and
Oh, I don't use before my time, George.
okay. And I mean, you had a fullback leading the running back, and
Not
when you
Zonka.
watched that, yeah, Zonka,
Okay.
Kick and Zonka, and when you watched the plays, that zone blocking, and he was really good. He showed it early in the game. The Bills were getting some yardage with it, but the blocking, it was okay, but then this guy should have did that, or this guy should have really did that to break it open. And he'll show you where the Bills did it later on in the game, and it was much improved with crisper blocking, and the guys got off their block and moved to the second level, and Singletary was even getting more yards that way.
Look,
So I think
a couple of times Singletary got, they stopped him with a shoestring tackle.
That's exactly right.
You know what I mean? Like, or he got tripped up a little bit because the offensive line and the offense blocked on the whole pretty well. And Singletary, Moss were the beneficiaries of it.
Yeah. And then when you got Josh Allen and the Bills, they were 9 out of 10 for third down conversions.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's incredibly good. And the Rams were under 50% for third down conversions. And that's just
Also incredibly good.
Huge indicator of where the game is going.
Yeah, the line of scrimmage was won by the Bills.
Now the Bills had 2 fumbles. One was by the rookie. One was by Moss. They'll clean that up, I think, going forward. And the interceptions by Josh Allen There was the one he threw to McKenzie, and the guy took it right away from McKenzie. So that was really more McKenzie's fault. But the other one where Josh was intercepted, I really thought that was Josh Allen. He was really thrown into such, I mean, the guy was all over the wide receiver. The Rams was all over wide receiver, and Josh threw it anyway, and it got picked off. And I thought that was one when I saw it. He's like, he just made a bad decision there. There's no way he should have been throwing that ball. So I think that'll get cleaned up. And that second half was so much cleaner and crisper. They made adjustments in the second at halftime, and the blocking schemes got better. And Josh Allen, they started to let him be Josh Allen, run the ball a little bit, open up the running lanes and passing lanes. The Rams didn't know which way they were coming at him, and by half of the fourth quarter, the Rams, I thought, had totally given up, and we're just going through the motions. Just trying. I mean, if you look at the last 3 minutes, the Rams had the ball. They didn't even take a timeout.
At the end of the game, yeah, they were letting the clock run out.
They're just letting the clock run out, and let's get that.
Let's
Get
get
the,
here, yeah.
get the heck out of Dodge.
Take our rings and go home.
Yeah, take our rings. And look, I mean, did you see when Stafford came off the field at the end of the game? Not only was he kind of dazed and loopy from all the hits he took, his left hand was bloody.
No, I didn't see the blood.
Yeah, his left hand was bloody. So he got beat up pretty bad. Hey, what have you heard about Ed Oliver's injury?
Nothing. I think the first time we'll really hear about that will be probably Monday. Like generally on Mondays, Sean McDermott talks to the press.
I'm hoping it's just a sprain, and I mean, it's 11 days between games, and maybe he'll be fine. But this is 1 year after what you saw, and you go, oh my gosh, if we lose Ed Oliver for an extended time in the past, we would be like, oh my God, well, there we go. Now it's like, it's okay, let him rest. We got plenty of guys on that front line.
Let's don't get cocky now.
I know.
Lawson
Did you notice that, when you were looking at all the so-called experts earlier, they pretty much all of them were picking the Bills to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
A little bit early to be picking a Super Bowl before the season starts. But at game time, the people on Thursday Night Football, they had about 10 of them out there on the field. And there were a couple that were really experts, and most of them were just like sports commentators.
Yeah.
And 7 out of 10 of them picked the Rams. They got caught up in that Rams hype because they were there in Los Angeles at that stadium, and they saw the banner going up, and they all got caught up in it. And the Rams are not the same Ram teams from a year ago. Are they going to get better?
Sure.
I don't think so.
Well,
I think they're going to play some competition that's going to give them some wins.
yeah.
I think they're going to have trouble with the 49ers.
They might have a Super Bowl hangover.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's there's a lot of buffets.
Well, their lineman Wentworth, remember that guy?
Yeah.
He retired. They lost Von Miller. Another guy was injured. I mean, Jalen Ramsey, did he look like the Jalen Ramsey that they've been touting all this time?
No, he had some good plays. He did make some plays, but he didn't look like the
number one corner in the league.
Yeah, he didn't look like the best in the league last night.
No, he doesn't even look like the best in his division. But we'll see what happens. But I do think for a first game, I thought the Bills played very well. They made some mistakes early, and they made the adjustments. And the defense, actually, I'd have to give the game ball to the defense. They really, I think, won this game, gave the offense time to get their feet wet and get their legs under them and be able to go ahead and score in the second half. So I think the defense kept them in the game and then put the game away.
I'd give the defense a letter A. I'd give them a grade A.
I would too. Yeah.
I don't know that I would give the offense an A.
B
A
maybe.
solid B.
Yeah, that's I think pretty much the same way, John.
Solid B.
Again, on the defense, I think we still have to figure out what's going on at corner. We were lucky that Allen Robinson was absolutely nowhere to be found last night. And they were the defense totally shut down the Rams running game, making them so one-dimensional. But that dimension did make plays.
Hold on, we got a couple minutes here still. I think we got a minute to go.
Okay.
Special teams grade.
Oh, I got to give them a solid B.
I hear. All right. Well, I'm going to give them a C
Okay.
because I'm not going to give you credit for what you didn't do. I didn't fumble. I didn't